Set my STEEZ going on. Yes, Lord, bringing you round 15, man. It's crazy how time flies, man. But we have round 15 already, man. And yeah, we starting to. I think the ladder's starting to. I guess the ladder already kind of been taking shape. The top 8 or 9 teams. There's not many teams contending for that last 8 spot. I think a lot of people are in agreement or agreeance, whatever the word is. That for the most part, the 8 is set, at least the 6, with potential movement from 7, 8 through 9 and 10. But even then, I think it's not much hope. I think for teams around there, or around 10 and below. But yeah, man. Still footy at the end of the day. Still unpredictability is still high in this sport, man, and you never know what team's gonna bring it each week. And on paper really don't mean nothing, man. So let's just go ahead and get into it, man. We have 4 teams with byes, so we have 7 games. We're short 2 games. Those teams being Adelaide, the D's, the Eagles, and the Hawks, man. So we won't be seeing them in action. I'm sure you already know that by now, considering we're just hours away from tip-off for the first game of round 15. And that game will be Freo versus Essendon, man. I don't think either team is really the greatest, man. Freo at their best is a pretty good side, though. But I don't think they'll necessarily need to bring their best against Essendon this week, considering how bad Essendon really got smashed last week against, was it Geelong? Against Geelong on the road. Well, Geelong was on the road and whooped Essendon ass. Essendon has been competitive for the last couple weeks, but I think at the end of the day, their injury toll is just a bit too much for them to overcome. Yeah, man, they're probably one of the most injured sides in the AFL. Well, they are one of the most injured sides in the AFL, and I don't think that'll really fare well for them boys. Freo, at worst, isn't really good, to say the least. They've had their struggles as well, but this game is at Optus, and I think at the end of the day, the injury toll is just a bit much for Essendon, like I'll say. So I think that'll play a huge factor into this game, and I'll go ahead and tip Freo to win this game to kick off the week, round 15. This next game, we have Geelong versus Brisbane at GMHBA, which could prove to be a great game, man. Geelong is on the number 2 on the ladder, man. It's a 2 versus 3 matchup. Both teams are going well, man. Geelong coming off of a big win. Well, not necessarily a big win, but big by margin-wise. Over Essendon, almost 100 points, 95 to be exact. And Brisbane coming off a loss against a GWS team that has been playing pretty well, I think. We'll get into GWS a little later on, but I do think it was a respectful effort. I think just happened to catch GWS on one of their good days, and it's really what it amounted to. So that being said, I think this game will be close. I won't hold that too much against Brisbane. And I don't know, man. It's tough. I think I'm gonna go Geelong this game, though. Home ground advantage will play a part in this, and it really can go either way, man. Splitting hairs. Man, it's really tough, bro. It's really tough to see. But I don't think Levi Ashcroft is really. And he's not obviously the most influential player, but I think he's been having a couple down weeks. Yeah, man. Sometimes Brisbane has shown that they struggle to kind of finish games at times. Sometimes they finish strong, sometimes they don't. The comeback kids, but they've also had their issues closing a couple games this season. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go Geelong this game. Could very well be wrong, but I just like what Geelong's doing down there, man. Not the sexiest team, if you don't mind, but I think they're still a good team and a contender nonetheless. As evident by their ladder positioning. Next game, which is the 3rd game of the round, we'll have Carlton versus North. They played earlier this season. Carlton smoked North, man. But Carlton is short a couple players. I still will tip Carlton to win this, but they're short a couple players, man. Charlie Curnow is doubtful for this match, not to be confused with being ruled out, but also Harry as well, which is an advantage that they usually have, having those two key forwards to put pressure on the defense. And I think that would be a pretty big deal to not have both of them. Yeah, I still think Carlton still is good enough to get it done. We seen how they played earlier in the season, and Carlton really didn't look to be too tested. Although Norfolk does give it a crack at times, man, but I just don't think Norfolk's really good enough to stick Carlton to catch them off guard this game. It's very well possible, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna back my Blues, man. I think they're still good enough to get it done. Walsh is also out as well, so also got to mention that as well. So I mean, North has a shot, bro. There's a lot of key outs for Carlton, man. Yeah, I might be a little biased, man. I think Carlton still favors to win this, but you never know with Carlton, bro. Like, I repeat this every week, bro. When them kicking issues get to be a problem, bro, if you put too much pressure on them boys, they can lose to anybody. So their worst footy is not great, but they also are not so much damaging in the middle, but are strong in the middle as far as clearance game goes and contested possession. So it'll just be interesting to see how this game goes. I'm gonna tip the Blues to win this one. Next game we have Port versus Sydney, and Port looks to be back on track, man. Sydney coming off a bye, man. Don't know if that'll necessarily help them boys. I ain't gonna lie, but Port, man, they've been straight, bro. When they get going, bro, they're dangerous, bro. George Addison had a great game last game, I'm pretty sure. And they do have their defensive issues as well with Radic Lear looks pretty fucked up, so I wonder if he's still carrying that little niggle or whatever the case is. But I don't really rate Sydney too well, although this could be a different Sydney team with Papley coming in and Golden coming in. Jake Lloyd will be out, which I think he hasn't missed a game like 10 years. So that's a pretty big deal. But Golden is a huge boost. It'll be his first game of the season. Also, Papley, we all know he can be one of the damaging game-breaking small forwards when he does get going. Port has been shaky as well on the season, so I mean it's very well possible, bro, for Port to lose this game. But they got a bit of momentum going in right now, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and tip Port to keep the momentum going, man. Yeah, what is it? 2-game win streak for them boys. They've been playing below their means. Maybe they figured something out after the bye. And yeah, I'm liking what I see from them boys, so I'm gonna have to tip Port. And next game we have Collingwood versus the Saints. Oh man, this is gonna be an asshole, bro. I mean, I don't think there's really much to be said about this game. I think most people, 99% of people will tip Collingwood this game, just considering the strength of the quality, the skill, the depth, just everything goes in favor of Collingwood, if you don't mind. And yeah, the Saints just, I'm reading and hearing things about Marcus Windhager tagging one of the Dacos boys, maybe Nick. We've seen Ed Langdon kind of take Nick out of the game where they played Melbourne as well, so it'll be interesting to see how effective that tag is. Nick Dacos, I think, has a history of being able to do well with taggers. So it'll be interesting to see how this game goes tactically, but I don't think that anything that the Saints can do will really rattle Collingwood as a whole side. So it's no surprise that I'm tipping Collingwood this match. GWS versus Gold Coast. This one should be interesting, bro. GWS, they seem to have getting back to their brand of footy. They've been good. They beat a Brisbane team. So it really doesn't matter whether they're at home or on the road. GWS they can get going really on any ground. They did lose to Port, who I think is playing straight a couple of weeks ago, and it's just their transition game looks much better. They definitely have been lacking in the beginning of the season in that area, or for a lot of the season. Haven't quite. I really didn't understand why they haven't been doing that, but with Lockie Ash back there, with Lockie Whitfield, them boys really can get the ball going off halfback, and it looks like they have been getting back to that. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare against Gold Coast. Gold Coast is coming off a bye as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. I don't think they've been playing their best brand of footy. Before the bye, they got smoked by Geelong, and they lost to Frio, so they haven't really been playing their best brand of footy. Obviously, they came out pretty good and pretty convincing in the early stages of the game, early stages of the season. Noah Anderson took a rough hit from Tom Stewart before the bye, the game before against Geelong, so he had an extra week of rest. So he's an influential player that the Gold Coast will need in order to win this game. But at the end of the day, GWS did. I don't know why I'm ready to say Geelong every time, but GWS lost Sam Taylor. He's out for a couple weeks, which is pretty important considering he's the best contested mark in the AFL, intercept mark in the AFL, excuse me. And losing him, there's not really anybody you really could replace him with. You do have Jack Buckley, who's also an influential defender down there as well, but I think there's no replacing Sam Taylor. And Briggs is still out, he's a pretty good ruck, as we all know. So it'll be interesting to see how GWS can do without those key players. So I think I may actually have to go Gold Coast this match for those specific reasons, even though they're on the road. But I'm having faith in the bye, man, that it made a difference for Gold Coast because they were struggling. But I mean, we've all seen what they can do, so let's see if they can get back to it. And final game of the round, we had Western Bulldogs versus Richmond, and I'm going Western Bulldogs. Sam Darcy has been looking very good since he's come back. And yeah, man, the midfield does not disappoint as far as the Western Bulldogs perspective. Richmond is just iffy. They play great footy at times, and they really just don't play the whole game. I mean, they can out-effort teams, but I don't know if you're going to do that against the Dogs. Ed Richards, one of the best players in the competition. You still got Bond over there. You still got Liberatore. So there's just plenty of players to go around from the Western Bulldogs perspective that are very influential on the ground, that can give Richmond problems. So I don't think Richmond will really be, they may be competitive at times, but I think at the end of the day, I don't think this will be a really close match if the Bulldogs play up to the potential of their list. And yeah, so at the end of the day, I'm going to tip the Bulldogs. They're at home as well, so we know Richmond, Dimma in particular, even though he's not there anymore, doesn't like to play at Marvel, and they've struggled at Marvel. So yeah, easy tip for me, Western Bulldogs. But anytime I say something's an easy tip, I'll be getting it wrong. So Cullen, my bad if I jinx this, man, but I know you're tipping the Dogs as well. So that's what I got for this round, man. A couple games that might be pretty entertaining, but I think there's a handful of one-sided games or unentertaining matchups. So praying and hoping that we have some entertaining games this week. Yeah, man, that's really all I got, man. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube shit. We'll be live in a couple hours. We'll see if this video gets rendered in time for tip-off. But yeah, man. Let me know in the comments whether you agree, what you think, whether you think, what direction you're going with your tips, man, and see how different we think, man. Yes, Lord.